Good morning, y'all. Just as usual, gonna wait a couple minutes for any stragglers to get in, and then we will move on. Wondering if not everybody got the memo. So today, like I said, we're going to be doing review for the test, which will be open next week. Let's see. All right. So all right, well, I guess I'll share this while I'm writing it up. All right, so tests will be timed. You'll have 75 minutes to complete each attempt, which should be more than enough time. Might even be too much time, but this is where we're at. We'll have 2 submissions per question. So just like in WebAssign, for homework, I think you have like 7 attempts at each one. In this setup, you will have 2. So don't forget to use them. So you're going to have 2 different attempts at this test. It'll look like 2 different assignments. It'll say test 3, try 1, and then test 3, try 2. The way this works is I just take the highest grade of either of these. So if you want to do both of them, that's fine. If you only want to do one of them, and you get a good grade on it, then great. And if you're happy with that, it's all well and good. But I just take the highest grade between these two attempts. We'll take the higher of these 2. I won't get into that part quite yet. So this is the basic setup. And you are welcome to submit pictures, scans of your work for partial credit. All right, so now I've got some people starting to trickle in. So the way this, I'll go ahead and I guess say it now. The way this was supposed to work is I was supposed to be able to send you guys an initial scheduled meeting, and you wouldn't have to re-click it I wouldn't have to like create a brand new meeting every time. It would happen under that same meeting link and everything every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. For some reason, the one on Monday did not do that. So for the other ones, it's that original link that I sent and I just resent. That's one that you will that's how you'll get to this meeting every time. Let's see. So yeah, and you're welcome to submit scans, pictures of any work that you did on the test for partial credit. Let's see.
Do we have to submit the pictures and scans?
You do not have to, but you can't get any partial credit if you didn't submit any scans. So good question. So welcome to submit partial pictures or scans of your work for partial credit. Tests will be open Monday morning through Friday at 5 p.m. So, like I said, this is going to appear as 2 assignments, and you will just click on them. Let me go ahead and add that. All right, so the tests, like I said, you'll have 75 minutes, and don't open the test at all unless you're ready to do it. because as soon as you open it, the timer starts. And it doesn't matter if you close it out or leave, the timer just keeps going. So make sure that you actually like submit it and are ready to do it. Otherwise, you're just going to blow that chance. So let's see. Yeah, so it's going to appear as 2 assignments, and they will appear on Monday morning, and they will close Friday at 5 p.m. Now this means even if you're in the middle of the test Friday at 5, it will close. All right, so it's going to, like I said, it's going to close regardless. So don't start it at 4:50 and then hope that it might still be there afterward. So I highly suggest that you use Chrome or Firefox. Have seen some issues with Safari and a ton with Internet Explorer, Microsoft Edge. So I highly suggest not using those. You could get lucky and be all right, but since Chrome is and Firefox are both freely downloaded, yeah, your best bet is to just go with that. So and there's one other suggestion I want to say. Whenever you put in an answer, remember to save it. I don't know if I have one open right now, so I can't exactly show you. But let's just go in here and look at one. Why are all my, oh, that's third section. All right. So normally there's a submit answer button, but there's also when you have a timed assignment, a test, there is an assignment button that says save. And so what that does is it keeps your answer, but it doesn't submit it. So this is important because if you run out of time and forget to go back and submit that as your answer, then you didn't submit or save anything, so it just doesn't see anything. But if you hit save, then at the end, if you haven't submitted anything, it will automatically submit that as your answer. So remember to save your work if you haven't submitted. So that's a big hint. Otherwise, it could really mess you up. All right. So any questions about how this stuff is going to play out? Like as far as these rules and everything. If not, that's fine. You can ask me later. So as far as what does this cover? Chapters P.6, 1.1, 2.1, and 6.5. So P6 is all about coordinate systems, plotting points, distance, formula, and midpoint formula. 1.1, this was about kind of basic equations. Let me pull up my book. So this was just about graphs of equations, 1D and 2D. X and Y intercepts. Symmetries. This kind of some basic qualities of graphs in general. And then 2.1, graphs of lines, finding slopes, slope, intercept, forms, and what makes parallel and perpendicular lines. And 6.5 was linear inequalities and systems of inequalities. So pretty much all of this stuff we actually went over last time. The idea being that we had so we had didn't really go over coordinate systems and plotting points and stuff, but we did go over 2.1 and 6.5. The idea being how to plot a line, how to figure out the graph of a line, that kind of thing. And then linear inequalities is just a little bit of an extension on that. So at this point, I'm going to open the floor for questions, and I will post this document to Jen's bar in a little bit. But yeah. So what would you guys like to talk about, ask, go over, anything like that? No, it's not nothing. All right. Well, somebody give me 2 points. Any 2 random points.
The test is 75 minutes and you get 2 attempts for each question.
All right, valid. I'm going to, I meant like points per graph. But yes, so that is a valid point of something that I went over. But what about any 2 points like these kind of points? We're going to do a refresher about the distance formula and the midpoint formula. All right, so I've got 2, 4 in the chat and -2. I have to get up because this thing is doesn't look too bad showing up, but could be better. All right, so 2, 4 and -2, 3. All right. So first we're going to do the distance formula. And who can tell me what the distance formula is? So the distance formula in algebra terms looks like this. Square root of change in x squared plus change in y. So this delta, this little triangle, means the change in something. And I'll use a slightly different color. The change in something, we'll call it A, is defined as A2 minus A1. So, with this in mind, what is the change in X? What is the change in X, delta X? How much did the X coordinate change? Which one is the X coordinate? What are the X coordinates?
2 and -2.
2 and -2. So how far do you have to move to go from 2 to -2?
You have to go back 2 spaces.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You have to go back on the
So think about it on a number line.
Is it 4?
It's 4.
Yeah, it's 4.
So to go from -2 to 2, you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Really, it's just, if you do it algebraically, it's 2 minus -2, which is exactly right, 4. Okay, so what about delta y?
Mm.
Is it 1?
Oh, we did 2, this one minus this one. So this one minus this one is exactly right, 1. Okay? So what is 4 squared?
16.
Perfect, 16. What about 1 squared?
1.
1. So,
17.
yep, the distance between these two is the square root of 17. And at that point, you can put that into a calculator and go from there. So if I was doing it on the if I was doing it on paper, I would accept either answer, either square root of 17, or if you just put that in a calculator and it'll spit you out 4.1 or something. But for the online test, I think you can also do either one. Yeah, so this is the distance formula. It's the change in the x's squared, change in the y's squared, and then square root. And the notes when we went over this are already online. So if you want to go back through the class notes thing, please do. It's very highly suggested. But yeah, this is what it looks like. So we're going to use those same 2 points. And we're going to find the midpoint. So can anybody tell me how we find the midpoint? So the midpoint is a point. Actually, and it's actually pretty easy to remember because it has x and y values that are in the middle of these two x values and these two y values. So you can either remember it like that and just try and kind of use intuition and guess. So what is in the middle of 2 and -2? What's halfway between those two?
Zero.
0, yeah. And then what's halfway between 4 and 3? How far is it from 4 to 3?
1.
1. So half of that distance is what?
You said have a 1?
Yeah,
0.5.
0.5. So you either have to go 0.5 up from here or 0.5 down from there, which is 3.5. So the mathematical way to do it is you take the average of all the x's and the average of the y's. The way you do the average is x1 plus x2 over 2. x1, nope. All right. Well, plug in our actual points. We have -2 plus 2 over 2 and 4 plus 3 over 2. What is -2 plus 2? -2 plus 2.
0.
0. And what is 0 divided by 2? What's 0 divided by 8? What?
0.
0. Yeah. What is 4 plus 3?
7.
Yeah, so that's 7 over 2. You divide 7 by 2, you get 3.5. So this is the midpoint and the distance formula. So while we're at it, since we've got these 2 points up and we're about out of time, I'm going to go over real quick how to take 2 points and find the line that makes those 2 points. All right. So we have these 2 points, and the equation for a line is y equals m times x plus b. And that is a b, not a 6. I'm sorry. I know my handwriting's terrible. So the first thing we generally look to find is the slope, which is m. So equals x plus something. All right. Who remembers the equation for slope? So slope is the
Wait, I equals mx plus b.
change in y over the change in x. So remember, the change in something is the second one minus the first one. And change in x is also the second one minus the first one. So what does this equation become? What is y2?
Wouldn't the answer be 1?
No. The top might be 1 because we get 4 minus 3. But on bottom, we get 2 minus -2. So you're right, the top is 1. What is the bottom?
4.
4. So the slope is 1/4. All right. Now it comes to finding the y-intercept. So the way we do that is all of these points, or both of these points, are solutions to this equation. So that means if we plug them in with everything else, they should fit, they make sense. So what we do is we take one of these points, it doesn't matter which one, and we plug it into this equation. And then we figure out what does B have to be for it to make sense. So which one do y'all want to use? Pick one.
The second one.
The second one? Is that what you said? This one?
Yes, sir.
All right, sounds good. So we have y, which is 3, equals the slope, 1/4, times x, which is -2, plus b. What is 1/4 times -2? So it is -1/2. And what is 3 plus 1/2? So answer is 3.5, or 7/2, however you want to write it. All valid versions. So these are, this is the basic stuff we're going to go over. A lot of the test is going to be this kind of thing. And remember, because we're about to, I think, get kicked